said, my name is Akasha Perez. I'll be your mediator today.
My name is Charles Pierre. I'm the attorney for Passando.
My name is Adr Movie, and I'm the president of Passando.
I'm Farah Siddiqui. I'm representing High Tech.
I'm Lindsay Sobers, and I'm counsel for High Tech.
Thank you. As the neutral mediator, I'm not on anybody's side. I'm here to facilitate a solution between everybody sitting here at the table. Just some ground rules. We don't want to see any name calling today or anything. We really want to have a safe space for us to express our interests and our concerns so that we can work towards a solution together.
Negotiating the contract, but because we had placed the shipment order at that time, and you guys were holding that up, we had to renegotiate. Once the product was shipped to us, there were a lot of defects. Parts were missing, parts were defective, software wasn't working. Once you fix the software once, another issue with the software happened, and then you fix it again, and then we had another problem. So it was problem after problem for us, and so it really didn't allow us to really get the product out to the people like we wanted to, and really get our distribution off the ground. And so we were really shocked once you guys terminated the contract, because in our view, we did the best we could with the time that we had.
It sounds like there's a lot of emotion here. Can you tell me a little bit about what you'd like to get out of this session here today?
What we're really looking for is we really would like a new deal, because we think that the product is great. It can be great, and it can be a really great international product, and it gives us a great connection with the United States. We really would like to get something established and start over with you guys, because we think it can be a great partnership if done correctly.
Over here. But all that I'm hearing from you right now are the problems that we did and mistakes that we had, and we frankly we see it in a different way. We thought that you guys have a distribution network ready. We thought that you had a lot of expertise in IT and computers, and that's why, frankly, that's why we picked you guys. We don't want to be out in South America, but when we have a business over here, we don't want to divide our employees 8,000 miles apart. And I see that there were some misunderstandings in our contracts, and we had to renegotiate, which we worked together on to get the new deal. And frankly, I don't think that that any of our delays were in bad faith. We just think that we came up with a contract for getting our computers distributed. Our contract terms were pretty clear in that it was only hardware, it wasn't software. I hear what you're saying, and that's what you've been saying for a few months now, that there were problems with software, but we really didn't have any contractual obligations to.
I'm hearing, Ms. Dupree, one of your main concerns is that you feel as though High Tech didn't set you up with the proper products and the proper support that you needed to be successful to fulfill your obligations under the contract.
Correct.
And Mr. Siddiqui, what I'm hearing from you is that you feel as though you entered into a contract with that included a distribution network that you feel wasn't actually in place at the time you entered the contract?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think what we could do right now is maybe take a moment to caucus with each side separately. It sounded like to me when we were speaking earlier that one of your main concerns is the distribution network.
That's correct. One of the reasons we believe, one of our positions is that Passando breached the contract because they did not provide us with the distribution network that we need to sell our products.
And can you tell me a little bit more about why the distribution network is so important to High Tech?
The distribution network is important to High Tech because it provides them with an opportunity to access the South American market without paying for the infrastructure of the distribution network, because Passando already has that distribution network. In our understanding, Passando already had that distribution network set up.
Okay.
The belief on is that they've only ordered 50 units, and then they ordered additional 20 units, but canceled the order for the 20 units. And our contract states clearly that they were to order 100 units within the first year, and that did not occur. So we believe that based on that behavior, they don't have the distribution network in order to house the products and fulfill our contract that they reached.
Okay.
I want to clarify, if we do want to keep working with them, I want it to be clear who takes care of the software.
Okay.
Yes, we offered the software to facilitate the sales facilitate the sales of our main computers, just to help them in the interim period. But we did not contract to give them software over the 5-year period to facilitate the sales of our product. Our understanding is that they would be able to take care of that themselves.
Okay. Let's move on a little bit to the distribution network. The contract, that, as far as I understand it, from what I read, it was pretty vague about what constituted a satisfactory distribution network. Can you talk to me a little bit more about what that looks like from your side?
Yes. So a satisfactory distribution network would, in this instance, as the contract states, be able to house 100 units, whether it would be in a warehouse or in retail stores, and sell those 100 units to consumers. Anytime you see a distribution network, that's from our understanding, anytime you see a distribution network that doesn't have the ability to house that amount of units, it wouldn't be sufficient. So for our standards. So when we entered into a contract stating 100 units within the first year, our understanding was within that period of time, they would be able to house those units.
But being an international organization with a footing in various continents, Germany, Argentina, South America, I should say, Europe, we understand that ambiguities and some issues arise from not understanding some of the terms of contracts and not necessarily understanding completely what the opposing side might want in the initial stages of the relationship. That being said, we are interested in continuing our business relationship with high tech. However, we only want to do so if they are willing to adhere to a couple guidelines. For one, we want them to recognize that our business reputation has been tarnished. We believe in this suit that's resulted in this context. We also believe that us relying on their product is also something that we want to talk about in terms of the damages that we're seeking. And we want to discuss and have them, I guess, be a bit responsible for terminating the contract obligations as they did. I mean, there was no ability on their part to terminate the contract at will. There's no clause for that. There was no clause of terminating the contract for dissatisfaction. If they wanted to terminate something in the contract, the only thing they could have done was to terminate the sole distributor aspects of the contract, but not all the distribution rights. And so we take great issue with that, and we believe that compensation is something that we will need, as well as a renegotiation of a new contract with explicit terms detailing future business and what we will want from them and what they will want from us.
So I'm hearing that we are interested in renegotiating the contract. Can you tell me a little bit more about what a renegotiated contract would look like for you?
As Mr. Peter was saying, for us it's really about the specifics and them really making sure the contract lays out everything that is required for each side. Really, we also want to have some terms in there about what each side is going to uphold. So we had a lot of issues with just the products, and they mentioned something about not being responsible for the software. But if you are, you're supplying the software to us, then we had a belief that you would also make sure that the software was working. So we really want to make sure the terms of the contract lays out everything and what each side is responsible for, so that we don't have those same type of issues with the products.
The breach that they've vocalized, at least during their opening statements, was that Rosando was responsible for ordering 100 units within the first year and a half, and that 100 units were not ordered in the first year and a half.
Well, we dispute this claim because there's nothing listed in the contract that says that we were to order 100 units within the first year and a half. Rather, it was kind of left open, and so it was implied that we were to order the 100 units within 5 years, which was the term of our contract, and that's what we were adhering to. So basically, from our perspective, we've satisfied the 100 units requirement because we have 12 pending that will be fulfilled within the next 2.5 years, which would then be within the 5 years that we promised to originally have fulfilled the 100 unit requirement. If they don't agree with that, if they don't think that's fair, then we need to set up some clear language to determine exactly what it is that you want and when you want it. Because absent some specifics, we're going to go based off industry norms. We're going to go based off of our previous relationships and how we previously do things across the world.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the $10 million figure, and if we have any room to wiggle on the $10 million number, because that is significant?
So obviously, it's the number where we're starting. We are open to be flexible. Obviously, it's going to hinge upon whether we can come up with a new contract that is over a period of a number of years, that's going to be more specific, and then we were more comfortable with playing around with the numbers that the board was.
When I went over the contract, I did notice a clause that indicated that neither party would be responsible for loss of profit caused by the other party. So I'm interested in knowing if I misinterpreted this agreement or if you are interpreting it in a different way.
Yeah, so honestly, the entire contract from our side was really difficult, honestly, to interpret, and we kind of had our own understanding of what that actually meant. The individuals who signed the contract originally, and also the renegotiating that happened 6 months after that, we kind of thought that part of the contract was kind of void. So from our perspective, that language, we didn't believe that language was still standing after the renegotiation. So from our side, I was lost.
And if we were able to renegotiate a contract, wouldn't that also reduce or eliminate the need for the $3 million in damages due to your reliance on the contract if we're able to renegotiate something?
I think we're comfortable with that as well. We can
Okay.
scrap.
Is if you can recruit people in South America to work with the software, we can employ them. We can pay.
They will essentially be high-tech employees, therefore high-tech will be sharing their trade secrets with their own employees.
Sure.
And not with Rosando. And then another option we could consider, if that's unsatisfactory, is that during the annual negotiation, we have a minimum amount that we establish. We state that, since we have a schedule, we state that whatever products that are named, we say 100 units, for example, we say 50 products at product 1, 50 units, or 20 products at product 2, 30 units are allotted for the products that come out.
That sounds great.
That sounds
And
much
it's
better.
clear. Could be incentives that could help you consider lowering this amount.
So we would like you to consider $500,000. However, to make it more palatable for you, when we were talking, I realized that sure the business reputation problem is a real problem, and what we would do is we would have the president of High Tech fly down to Argentina and do a press conference or an opening event where we make an announcement that we are entering this 5-year negotiation with Rosando. We are creating new jobs in Argentina and in South America.